What I remember early on as a young guy is that Mom wasn't around much. As a single parent in Washington State, we became a family that depended on welfare. What I didn't know is Mom's dealing with that was to turn, unfortunately, to the alcohol. And we didn't see a lot of Mom. Got to the point to where my mom one day said, "I can't deal with you anymore." And she picked up the phone and she called the sheriff's department. I remember standing in the parking lot that day, and the police officer loaded me into the back of the car. And that would be the last time that I was ever in my home. I was placed into a Christian boys' home, and that was the beginning of the journey for me that changed my life. My decision accepting Christ took place at mid-high camp. I remember sitting in chapel three times a day, because that's what you do at camp. But I remember an overwhelming emotion coming over me at the end of the service. And I remember the invitation was given. I went down and I knelt on a concrete chapel floor and invited the Lord Jesus into my life. And I just remember getting off the concrete floor feeling different. I couldn't really explain it and describe it, but a sense of freedom was just absolutely incredible. I can't even put into words what having the whole package, if you will, meant to me. The directors of the boys' home that I had been sent to when I was a part of the juvenile system there in Washington State, I was seeing a family operate of what I thought a family should look like. And so that led to a conversation of me asking the director of the boys' home, would he adopt me? So in August of 1974, Brad McFarland Jr. no longer existed. I was now Brad Carpenter. I took on the last name of my mom and dad that adopted me. Early in my military career, I was returning from overseas, and I discovered that my biological dad lived in Hawaii. We met at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Honolulu, Hawaii. I remember my dad embracing me, and we both wept after not seeing one another. That led to the reconnection, not only with my dad, but my birth mom and my siblings. You probably know there's no greater challenge, I think, than trying to share the love of Christ with your family. I just had a desire to be like Jesus to them. My birth mom started coming to church, and I remember on the Sunday that she invited the Lord Jesus into her life, the tears were coming down her cheeks. Christ delivered my mom from a 50-year addiction to alcohol. That then began to lead to conversations with my birth dad about sharing Jesus, but he convinced himself he could not be forgiven for walking away from my mom, his wife, and 5 kids. I just kept sharing how Christ would forgive him. I can remember the day that my dad invited the Lord Jesus into his life. It was December 31st, 2012. My mom invited Christ into her life. My dad invited Christ into his life. So now you have a totally broken family, a mom and 5 kids, who have not only been able to reconcile, but all have made professions of faith. That's why we're here. We are here to introduce Christ to as many people as we can. You just need to be available. Say yes to God, to his way, and to his will, and he will give you the opportunities to share more than you can count.